Under the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raising voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits roll. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, real die band.
All right, we're back and we are live for our final show of Tuesday night for the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz here. Welcome, everybody. Josh Wilson here along with Christopher Like, and it looks like Chris has the cat.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I had to go get him out of another room.
Yep. Welcome, everybody, here to the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz, and we'll have Bot popping them on here in just a little bit here. It's most likely going to be a phone interview unless he's able to find a way to jump on the video. We'll just go from there and everything. But we got comments rolling here in the chat already as we fire up. And Mark Kennedy is like, Emery, did you drink the Long Island iced tea before watching the Gator game? I don't know. I'll take the non-alcoholic kind, please.
Oh man!
But how you doing, my man? After 3 shows, we're on to our final show tonight, and of course, we have our 4 more shows tomorrow with Central Florida, Northeast Florida, North Central Florida, and the Panhandle. And 2 of the interviews tomorrow, by the way, I'll tell you coming up here. I'm going to be recording interviews with Irish Bill for the Panhandle one, and also with we've got and Mike Rideout as well. So those will be our interviews for the shows for North Central Florida and Panhandle tomorrow night. But we're working with their schedule, so they'll be pre-recorded for the show. But we'll still be live tomorrow night. We'll just those will be played during the interview segment. They'll be pre-recorded interviews, Chris. But anyways, boy, what a week it has been. Week 2. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season and things have gone crazy.
Yeah, this has been a crazy season already. And where do we begin with Tampa Bay this week?
Oh yeah, where do we go with Tampa Bay this week? Indeed, as we go into the Blitz Lines. And by the way, I see Courtney Little. Good evening to you, Courtney Little's joining us here on the show. I see your comment here, Courtney. Find out in a moment, in a little bit, on our pick 6, because that is actually one of our 6 games on the list for this week here. And Kevin Fisher, looking forward to watching the show tonight. As always, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you joining us here. Everybody, again, it's really fun to do this. It's being able to come in a different perspective, being able to do these shows, be able to talk to y'all, being able to really just give a lot of different insights of what we're seeing, what we're hearing. It really is it's fun, Chris.
Yeah, you can't get much better than have fan interaction, get their perspective as well. That really helps us in in more ways than you guys believe.
No, absolutely. And of course, we have our player of the week polls that we're doing here. We just did our first ones. We'll have our player of the Blitz edition for Tampa Bay for player of the week coming up here in a few minutes as well. But really looking at it here, just some of the games from last week that were on our pick six. River Ridge 17-13 over Steinbrenner. Oh man, Steinbrenner. Late comeback was not enough for them.
Yeah, River Ridge had that 17-7 lead at the half, and Steinbrenner had that touchdown and it could not come closer.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, it really was. The Warriors were accumulated 316 total yards, but were limited to 89 rushing on 23 carries. And when you're limited to rushing in the rushing department, when you can't balance it out a little bit, it comes back to bite you. And for the second year in a row, River Ridge is a winner here in this game. And River Ridge off to 2-0. Steinbrenner 1-1 under Gregory Puska's first year as head coach. And we'll be able to. I want to be able to get at some point. This probably wouldn't have been the week to do it anyways, but I would like to get Coach Greg Puskas on. Really know Coach really well at Steinbrenner, knowing him for a long time inside the flag football ranks. So he's not only the head girls flag football coach, he's now the head tackle football coach. So getting his first chance to be the leader on the boys' side. And so far, so good. I mean, you're 1-1. Hey, you're only a 4-point loss. You can't complain about that necessarily. You'd like to have that one back. I took Steinbrenner in my picks last week, thinking that, maybe that would be to their advantage, in that game being at home. But it proved otherwise a road win for the River Ridge Royal Knights. Looking at another game that we have here that we are looking at. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Palm Harbor University. This one kind of scratched my head, but because Palm Harbor really struggled week one, but they lashed out on Tarpon Springs. They lashed out on the Spongers here, 34-7, and oh man, that's called going from being blown out to getting to take it to dishing the blowout.
Yeah, Ben Tassapoint had 3 touchdowns in that game, and they really put to the metal on Tarpon Springs in that game. The impressive defensive performance by Palm Harbor.
Yeah, it really is. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the chat because there's a battle back and forth about who's going to beat who and between Gators, Knowles. They're talking about Bama. I mean, whew. Boy, there's college football talk going on inside the chat too, Chris. But Palm Harbor, yeah. Palm Harbor, I mean, the Hurricanes just literally dominated Tarpon Springs. And sophomore Garrett Perkins, I think you may have mentioned him, 42 yards rushing, 1 touchdown on attempts. The Hurricanes accumulated 128 yards on 38 carries. And got to give it to Palm Harbor. It may not the stats may not look as pretty, but how about this defense? 5 sacks and with Michael Whitlock getting 4 of those. Holy cow! Good night.
Yeah, no. I mean, you look at the Tarpon Springs. They just could not get going. And I tell you what, I'm concerned about Tarpon Springs now. Now, considering what this result is.
Oh, absolutely. All right, and I'm going to bring this up. Sorry, Emory. Hardy. 56-0. Frostproof wins. Bulldogs just totally dominated Hardy. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Emory. Don't really have any stat lines on Frostproof because somebody's not putting their stats in max preps, unfortunately. But Bulldogs just it was a lot to nothing. So
yeah. Yeah, Frostproof is just a very good team in that league, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Hardy's been struggling, and we all know it. So it's going to be a long year for Hardy this year.
Absolutely here. And with that said, how about this? Clearwater 28, Wiregrass Ranch 16. The ranch has ran out of ranch dressing, apparently.
I don't know where to start with that one.
I don't know where to start with this one because I'm really confused about this. And
I'm confused how Clearwater beat Wiregrass Ranch to begin with.
I'm just really lost here. Jalen White, 122 yards and a touchdown while completing 14 of 19 passes for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Tornadoes. And Wiregrass Ranch now 0-2 on the season. Clearwater 2-0. And it's not to say that Wiregrass Ranch is not like struggling. It's that they're just not putting up enough on the board here, and that's where I think it really is. Wiregrass Ranch sophomore quarterback Daniel Terry completed 12 of 22 passes for 203 yards and a touchdown. Boy, I'm still having a hard time making up with this because it's here. I think Wiregrass Ranch is going to have a really solid season to replicate off of that 2024 season.
It's sending a mixed signal here. I mean, Wiregrass Ranch is not a bad team, but Clearwater. They should have beaten Clearwater.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How about this? I got to give a hats off to St. Pete Catholic for the first time in 20 years to beat Tampa Catholic 47-7. Chase Burrell, how about this? 22 of 29 passing for 395 yards, 4 touchdowns as the Barons dominated the Crusaders. And St. Pete Catholic now off to a 2-0 start in Jesse Chinchard's first year as head coach. And boy, St. Pete Catholic, they were the one team that was left out of the playoffs there in Class 1A Region 3 last year. But this year, it may be the whole different story. It may be St. Pete Catholic causing somebody else that was in the playoffs last year to be left out.
Yeah, and Pete Catholic, I think this is the year that you're going to see a lot of improvement on that team. And so far, they've shown it. And to beat a Tampa Catholic team that bad, that's an impressive showing. No,
absolutely. And last but not least, De La Salle 10, Lakeland 6. Linebacker Ziggy Riley had a return to fumble for 70 yards for a touchdown in the second half to provide the lone score for the Dreadnoughts. And down goes Lakeland 10.
I don't know if you might cut out or.
No, I just heard something. It sounded like it coming from your end.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there. It just all of a sudden. I don't know either what happened there. Maybe it's the sun waves. Sorry about that, everybody. But just really honestly, I just looking at this. I mean, this was not the same result it was like 2009, where Lakeland went in there and got that, and Dreadnoughts were sunk, as Mark Canis says. So yeah. Lakeland, but they got another big game this week, so they got to turn around, get that. That was far from underwater. I mean, that was far.
I'll give Lakeland this. They were in the game the entire time.
No, I agree.
They were in the game the entire time. I mean, but to go to California and beat De La Salle, that's a tall order, and they had their chances. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. I look for Lakeland to bounce back, but this will be a lesson learned for the Dreadnoughts.
No, absolutely, and as they say here, it really is one of those things where it's that situation here. But anyways, here we go. I thought I heard a time warp or a space shuttle being launched off. I don't know either. It was an underwater set effect. I don't know. It was. That is not a sound effect I have on the board here, so I got to say that. So. Anyways, here as we roll along here, we're going to recognize our first Blitz Tampa Bay Player of the Week for week number 1. Noah Wallstat from Boca Ciega is our week 1 Blitz Player of the Week for Tampa Bay. And Noah completed 16 of 22 passes for 381 yards and 6 touchdowns and a 69-22 win over Hollins. Our new player of the week polls for week number 2 will go up tomorrow for the 4 shows that we had tonight. The next 4 shows will go up on Thursday, and we'll keep it that way, and we'll have the voting go into Monday for the 4 shows that are tonight. We'll end at Tuesday for the 4 shows that are for Wednesday. So that way we can kind of keep it up. Maybe it was UFOs, Josh. Oh, God. I don't know, but anyways, we got to take a break here, and then we're going to get Bob Putnam on here, and it's going to be a phone interview with Bob, so we'll be right back right after this here on the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz here on FloorHSFootball.com.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Touchdown!
Juggled and caught!
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought, if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, there's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
All right, welcome back here to the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz here, and we are glad to be here, and we're going to be joining us now on the phone is Bob Putnam from Primetime Preps and the Tampa Bay newspapers, including the Beacon Media there in Tampa Bay. And Bob, appreciate you joining us here by phone this evening here for the interview. And Bob, just real quick to kind of get the thing started here. I mean, just put it like just a kind of a topper on what we have got here and what we've seen so far in the first couple of weeks with just the football in Tampa Bay, especially with the fact that what Tampa Bay Tech did to Venice in week 1. And now we're talking about a big matchup, obviously, coming up here this week with Armwood and Tech on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big statement, by Tech. They kind of followed the blueprint that Armwood did, 2 years ago when Armwood beat Venice in the opener, and just played some smash mouth football. And I remember in that game, Pringle had a big night, and in this one, in Tech's opener, Jari had a pretty good game. I think it was more than 160 yards, Alabama commit.
Mm-hmm.
So, they've both of those teams have been able to find a formula to, kind of hang with Venice.
No, absolutely here, and it really, and I think when you saw that score come result, and were you more like were you surprised by it, to seeing what Tech did, or were you more surprised that Venice just kind of laid down?
No, I wasn't really surprised. I knew, Tech was going to have, a pretty pretty dynamic team, this year. Defensively, they're always strong. They're always going to be super athletic. Secondaries always, usually ranks among the best in the area. And, I think the key, though, is as the case is in a lot of Bay Area teams this year, the big strength in the area is up front, as far as the offensive line. You got Kanan Pickett and you got some other guys that can really, move people around. And then when you can hand the ball off to, an Alabama commit, and they've got others too, that can do some damage as well. It didn't surprise me as much as, it might have with other people.
Oh, absolutely. I think Chris has got a question here for you.
Yeah, you look at the result in the Tampa Catholic St. Petersburg Catholic game. What kind of measuring stick do you look at when you compare those two schools now that game has been played?
With St. Pete Catholic, it's a new coach. Jesse Chichar came over. He was the OC at Tarpon Springs, and then a coach at Clearwater Academy before that. They brought in a lot of guys, so the talent level has increased dramatically as far as there. The quarterback Chase Burrell came over from Northside Christian. He's got 10 touchdown passes in 2 games so far, and that's they're gonna be pretty dynamic always on offense with Jesse. That's just kind of his MO. As far as Tampa Catholic, it's just been gone through a couple of coaching changes now. Mike's back, Gregory, and just trying to establish what he wants to do there. But it's been a tough rebuild so far.
Absolutely. And Bob, just looking at it again, I know you're the newspapers you're working for, they cover a wide variety of neighborhoods, not just Pinellas, but parts of Hillsborough and in Pasco County. I mean, Wiregrass Ranch, the start of 0-2, I'm kind of befuddled with them. I don't know what to make of Mark Cantor's group this year, considering after that deep playoff run last year, but Clearwater off to a hot 2-0 start. So, how do we separate these two programs, especially the fact that I think a lot of people had expectations, high on Wiregrass Ranch to come into season, and here they are, 0-2 going into week 3.
Well, they had a lot of talent on that team last year that graduated. Grayson Littleton, cornerback. He's already making quite a few plays for Texas. This past week, I think he was matched up against Jeremiah Smith and kind of held his own a little bit. Not all the time, but, a few plays here and there, they were matched up there. So he's already making plays, even as a freshman. Running back, is already getting playing time at Iowa. You got one of the offensive linemen, I think that's at Clemson. And then, you lose your quarterback who ends up transferring to Plant. That's a lot to replace talent-wise in a season. And then on top of it, to sit there and come in and play right off the bat, Plant and Clearwater. And then, they got another tough game coming up this week as well. So I think, in time, they'll be able to right things. But they've been in both of those games, so I don't think you got to hit the panic button just yet. It's just a product of being young and playing a difficult schedule.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just going to say on the flip side, Clearwater, they were going to be good this year. They, I believe, have 17 starters returning, 3 or 4 D1 commits, including the quarterback, Jalen White. He's pretty dynamic, dual threat guy. And it sets up for a real nice matchup, this week with Lakewood.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. And I gotta point out this matchup here because I don't think it was on the schedule last year, but Jefferson and Mitchell this week. And for Jefferson, I think this is a good. Honestly, I would say this is a good test for them because I know that last year they went 10-0 on the schedule last year, but when the second round of the playoffs came around, they just literally got the doors blowing off. I mean, could this kind of finally help maybe Jefferson in terms of like, okay, where the strength of schedule goes and finally get some answers of what Jefferson really is looking like on the field?
Yeah, I'm sure that's the biggest reason that they, put this game on the schedule was because, the way the schedule's set up in Hillsborough, it goes by tiers. So, Jefferson had struggled for quite a few years there. And so they were putting in the lower tier. So they were playing, lower teams that were struggling. Plus the district was pretty manageable. So, they were able to kind of breeze through for the most part the regular season. But yeah, not being tested during the regular season really came back to bite them. So I think that's a huge reason, why this game was scheduled. And for Mitchell, if they win this week, obviously they still, stay undefeated. But it's also Andy Schmidt's 100th win as a coach,
wow,
which is pretty remarkable because it's basically 100 wins in like more or less 11 years because he's just now in his 12th year. So I mean that's about an average of 9 wins a year. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Chris, you got a question there for Bob?
You look at there's another team out there, Tampa Bay Tech. A lot of people got their eyes on Tampa Bay Tech as a team that could be a state title contender this year. What's your impression of Tampa Bay Tech so far this year?
What's my thoughts on Tampa Bay?
Yeah, the impression switched a little bit more on that. I guess we're going to go dive a little deeper on Tech here.
Oh, sure. I mean, like I said, they're a legitimate state title contender. I mean, look, you go back to last year, they lose to Lakeland, but they lose on a long kickoff return that ends up in a short manageable field goal at the end, and they lose. But they were right there with it. Could have easily won that game last year, and and then already this year, being able to have a convincing season-opening win against Venice, they're right there. But I mean, now Armwood, is going to be, obviously a huge test. Jason this past week sat out 4 starters against Wharton just to make sure they were 100% healthy, including his top 2 running backs. So that kind of, sets up things nicely for them. And this is a great rivalry, great series. Since 2017, it's split evenly 4-4 in the regular season. I think 3 or 4 of those games have been decided by 5 points or less. So, it's just a tremendous matchup, for quite a few years now too.
No, absolutely. Bob, real quick, I got a question in the comments and the chats here, and it said Blake's new quarterback. Some people told our follower Mark Cannon here, and he said it was phenomenal against Bloomingdale. And they had a big win. They just stood like Bloomingdale after getting that 41-40 over Newsom in week 1. Blake comes in and blows the doors off Bloomingdale. So I mean, what a difference week 1 and week 2 can make for a program.
Well, Blake is really good. So they've got, I think, every one of their offensive linemen are back. Quarterback is back, but the difference maker is the Noon Halls, especially the sophomore Elijah. It's Ohio State commit. He, I believe, had more than 100 yards rushing in each of the first 2 games. But he's just as dynamic on the other side of the ball, as a defensive player. In fact, during the media day when we were talking, I was talking to Matt Thompson, and he was saying is how highly he thinks of him. College coaches would constantly come by. He's like, you got to go to Blake. He's like, that's the guy. That's the guy you should be after. And obviously, it already is true because he's already committed to Ohio State as a sophomore.
Oh, wow, absolutely. It's just incredible what's going on in Tampa Bay football. And we wish we had way more time to talk about everything because there's a lot going on. But, Bob, where can everybody find where a lot of your stuff is going at? I know it's in a lot of the Beacon Media newspapers and across it. Also, I know that goes on TampaBay.com as well. I know there's a media partnership with the Tampa Bay Times for a lot of the articles. So talk about where people can find your work at now, as I know you settled into this new role with the Tampa Bay newspapers over the summer.
Yeah, so you could do tvnweekly.com. There's a lot there as far as like the Tampa Bay newspapers. We've got a full page in Pinellas that we do each week, and we're doing a decent amount, in Pasco and Hernando too, trying to get as much as we can in Hillsborough, and then primetime preps.
No, absolutely. Chris, do you have a final comment or question for Bob?
Yeah, Bob, I think you do a phenomenal job over Tampa Bay. What's your impression so far? What's the sleeper pick for this year?
The sleeper pick?
Yeah, sleeper pick, Bob. A sleeper pick.
Oh gosh.
We stumped him.
One of the teams that people aren't talking about a lot, which is kind of surprising, is Jesuit. They're 2-0. They just come off a pretty solid win in the opener against Bishop Verot, and I think they could, be pretty tough this year. I think the key though is, obviously you got Will Griffin, but they're going to be a lot more balanced this year. Matt talked about that during the media day. He said part of their struggles last year was they had to lead in the fourth quarter and they couldn't close it out because they couldn't run the ball effectively enough. And he's like, this year that's been a pretty big focus. They've got 15, they're 15 deep as far as like offensive linemen. They've got a number of backs. I think with that balance, it's going to, create a lot of problems and help Will Griffin be even that more effective this year as well.
No, absolutely. Bob, appreciate you being able to join us here. The Twitter handle, or is what they call X now, is that Big Game Bobby, and definitely appreciate you being able to join us here on the phone here and give us a few minutes of your time and your busy schedule to talk some Tampa Bay football. And again, we'll have you back on later on in the season and as we get towards the playoffs.
All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. And have a good night, Bob. That was Bob Putnam from Primetime Preps joining us here on the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz. And boy, Bob, we could have several hours with Bob. A lot of our media guests that we end up bringing on, we could have several hours with. Chris, you're muted. I can't hear you. Oh, hold on a second. I think. You muted your mic on the thing. I unmuted on the straight on the string. You sound like so low. I can't barely hear you. Nope. We don't know what's going on with Chris's microphone. We'll have to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, something happened here while we were in the middle of the interview with Bob, but let's take a break here, and then we'll come back here, and we'll figure out what's going on here with Chris's mic in the meantime, and we'll have our Pick Six fan questions and comments and all that. So we'll be right back here on the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz here on FloydHSFootball.com.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught.
All right, welcome back here to the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz here as we come along here going into our fan questions and comments. Hopefully Chris has got his microphone worked out. We'll see what happened is.
I hope I got it fixed.
There we go. We got it. I think maybe that was part of the problem earlier where we had the UFO. I don't know. Something made it kind of...
You know, there was a comment I made earlier in the chat. I said, maybe it was some Max in Flight of the Navigator, if you remember that movie. Funny story. Max was actually voiced by a guy named Pee Wee Herman.
Wow. Okay. By the way, guess who popped up in the chat, Chris? Guess who just popped up?
I see that. Nolly.
Nope. Nolly! Where have you been, my man? Where is Nolly been? Nolly, where have you been? Where have you been?
Hey, Nolly, we talked Lakeland football earlier.
Well, we're going to talk Lakeland football again here in a few minutes here because it's on the picks here. So, but anyways, good to see everybody here. And all the Emery William Smith says, "I love all the fun and humor during all the shows." If we can have fun with this and we can have humor and we can just do this and do this the right way, we're going to keep growing this thing. This is not just going to be. I have sparkling ice too here. I mean, I've got a. Pee Wee Herman is an alumnus of Sarasota High. Thank you very much.
There you go. And the funny thing is that movie was based in Florida.
No applause working and dodging all those boos about Lakeland for the state. No, Nolly. We love you around here. We love you around here. Oh my gosh. Y'all are tripping. Y'all are so funny. Y'all are so funny, but you know what? It's time for the pick six. It's time for 6 games, 6 picks, 1 winner. Time to make our picks for week number 3. Here we go. Here we go with our picks for this week. And first up on the docket is Berkeley Prep, 0-2 at Carrollwood Day, 2-0 Berkeley Prep. 2 close losses to Clearwater Central Catholic and Booker in the first 2 weeks. Here comes Carrollwood Day. It's no cakewalk for the Buccaneers. And, man, Berkeley Prep, think about this, Chris. 5 points away from being 2-0 instead of 0-2.
Yeah. And I disagree with the computer, by the way.
Carrollwood Day, 17-point favorite over Berkeley Prep. I mean, this game's at Carrollwood Day. I think this game's going to be way closer than what the computer is calling for. Sean Council, good evening to you. Berkeley Prep bounces back. Carrollwood Day, 93% chance. I like to take the 7% chance on Berkeley Prep winning this game. Chris, how about you?
I like Berkeley Prep winning this game as well. Carrollwood Day is a good program, but I think Berkeley Prep is going to come out in this game and be very angry that they lost a combined total of 5 points and could have been undefeated.
No, you're absolutely right. Carrollwood Day's not good. No. I got to remind you, computer programmed by. Sometimes I just lose. I have a loss. I have no words. I have no words. All right. So Carrollwood Day 93%. By the way, they blew out Providence in Jacksonville last week, 56-0. So I mean, Carrollwood Day is not. They're not a rollover either. So I mean, this game's going to be close. I just like Berkeley Prep. I think they're just going to. It's man.
Yeah,
And,
but the schedule. It's in favor of Berkeley Prep too. So,
we'll see what happens here. All right, and Reno will take Carrollwood because that's what he told me to take. So we'll go from there. Jefferson 2-0 at Mitchell 2-0. A game we talked about with Bob here just a few minutes ago. Here, this is for Jefferson. Here, this is the issue. This is the game that they really need. It's for strength of schedule. It's hopefully that they can find where they're at. Is this a game that it's going to help them in the official power rankings? Well, obviously, I think yes. The question is, can they get through this game here and win this game potentially? I don't know, but the computer says one thing, and it says Mitchell 9 over Jefferson, giving Mitchell an 80% chance of winning the game.
I kind of agree with the computer on this. Mitchell is definitely for being right there with the big dogs in the region. So give me Mitchell.
I'm going to take Mitchell as well. Reno will take Mitchell, and I just say this with Mitchell. I really think, again, this is a game that Jefferson needs more than Mitchell does. I think Mitchell takes a little bit of a hit in their power ranking just by taking on Jefferson based upon Jefferson's schedule for the rest of the year. But I like Mitchell. Give me the Mustangs and give me Andy Schmidt's 100th win as a head coach. That's where I will take it. And I agree, Mark Cannon. I think Mitchell will outwork Jefferson. I think this is the game that really more where Jefferson really needs to see where they're kind of at here, because if they're going to make any kind of run in the playoffs, thinking that they'll have the district in hand, given the fact that Robinson is showing no improvements at all. I just don't know, but give me Mitchell. We'll roll from there. By the way, everybody in the chat, Chris, going Mitchell.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised.
Now, this one's a good dandy. We didn't talk about this to Bob, but it's a good dandy here. Clearwater 2-0 at Lakewood 2-0. Oh, boy, this is going to be a good one in Pinellas County. Probably your Pinellas County game of the week here right now. Oh, Nolly's going with Jefferson with the upset. All right, Nolly.
Nice
What does the FPRI call for? Well, Clearwater 11 over Lakewood. I'm sorry, Clearwater. I went against you last week. I am not making the same mistake again this week. I am taking the Tornadoes.
I think this game can be close. It's going to come down to the last possession, but I think Lakewood comes out with a win.
Wow, Lakewood at home. Okay. Rena's going to take Clearwater. I'm taking Clearwater for the win here. Some people are taking Clearwater. Some people are taking Lakewood. I love seeing it here. Nolly's going. Is this Nolly goes against everything what we pick here on the show? I don't know. We'll see. Mark Cannon says, not so fast, my friend, Lakewood. All right. Game number 4 is Jesuit. 2-0 at Valdosta, Georgia, at Wintersville. 3-0, the winningest high school football program in the nation, Valdosta, Georgia. Boy, Jesuit. What is the forecast line? Well, Valdosta 14 over Jesuit, win probability at 90% for Valdosta. Jesuit a 10% chance. Man.
I love Jesuit, but you're going up against a team that's in the nation top 25 almost every year. Give me Valdosta big time.
I think everybody's going Valdosta here. Just in the chat, I can tell alone. Nolly's actually agreeing with us for once. Will Griffin. Oh, Mark Cannon says Will Griffin will get his first victory over Georgia. Okay. All right, Mark. All right. Our 5th game is Lake Mary 2-0 at Lakeland 1-1. See, I told you, Lakeland. The Lakeland talk was coming. Sean Council's going Valdosta. Where are we going with this game, Chris, before I bring up the forecast? Lake Mary coming off a big win at Osceola, a close win. Lakeland, again.
You know, Lakeland showed a lot of good in this De La Salle game. Like I said earlier, even though people are down on Lakeland right now, but Lake Mary, this game's going to come down to the wire. I like Lake Mary barely.
Lake Mary barely. And this is a game that is Lake Mary, a 15-point favorite over Lakeland. Lake Mary, 91%. I think this is going to be closer. This is going to be one of those 5 to 7 point games. And I agree with Mark, I agree with Nolly. If Lakeland can get their offense in check, I agree with you on that. Lakeland has got to help that defense out. The defense is stout. It's the offense, and that was one of the big things that cost Lakeland last year in that title game. They couldn't get offense. The defense was there. Defense is again there. The offense. What does Marvin Frazier cook up here this week for Lakeland? That is my biggest question. Is it going to be enough? Is the defense going to be enough to contain Noah Grubbs? That is the other thing. Are you going to be able to respond if Noah Grubbs throws 3-4 touchdowns? The offense has got to be ready, because if Noah Grubbs torches that defense, game over. I don't care if this is at Bryant Stadium or if this is over at Don T. Reynolds and Lake Larry. At the end of the day, if Noah Grubbs throws 2, 3, 4 touchdowns, that's it. Good night.
Yeah. Like I said, Lakeland last week, they had their chances, but the offense didn't show up. So that's why they lost to De La Salle. Had the offense had some life, they would have won that game.
Absolutely. Stephen Thatcher said he would love to see some wildcat out of Lakeland. Oh boy, you need anything to get something going. I just hopefully they don't need the defibrillator of the process trying to resuscitate, trying to get back on, because it really that's the thing. I had my concerns in that state championship game, and those concerns are still rolling over again with the offense. It's not the defense. The defense, I know they say defense wins you championships, but the kind of schedule you're playing in Lakeland, you got to have some offense somewhere. Defense is not going to carry you and bail you out every game.
Yeah, and that showed in the state championship game too, like we said.
As Mark Cannon says, Noli is a legend. So, yep, you're right. You're right, Chris. Anyways, our final game is Armwood in Tampa Bay Tech. And this forecast line, I agree, because I'm glad I'm not alone in my concerns. There's so many concerns that look, I want to love Lakeland as much as I want to love every other team, but right now, how can I love Lakeland to win a game if they can't? If they just can't figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Armwood, Tampa Bay Tech, 2-0. Bob mentioned these games have been like 5 to 7 point games.
This is going to be a measuring game for both teams.
And what does the forecast call for? Chris, you want to take a guess?
I wouldn't be surprised if Armwood is a favorite, but Tampa Bay Tech, they're right there.
Armwood, 5-point favorite over Tampa Bay Tech. This game has a chance of going either way. Armwood, 68% chance of winning. Tampa Bay Tech, 32%. I see the chat is already going off for Tech. Stephen Thatch says slobber knocker game. This will be a slobber knocker. Yeah, this will be one of those kind of games. Tampa Bay Tech. I love what Tech is doing. I love what Armwood is doing. Oh, man. I think I have Armwood, man. Gosh, this is hard. This is hard,
What do
Chris.
you think, Sunshine? You think, who are you picking? I think he's picking Tampa Bay Tech.
I think Reno, this is the one game I think Reno is going to take Tampa Bay Tech on, because It's within 7 points. Actually, within 9 points. Tampa Bay Tech. Are you going Tampa Bay Tech too, Chris?
Yes, I am.
All right.
John.
This is where it's a coin flip, in my opinion. If this game was at Armwood, I would take Armwood. But after what Tampa Bay Tech did to Venice and how they played last week, I am going TBT here in this one, and I'll give me the over on the spread. I think it's going to be about a 7-point to 10-point game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm putting cat picking Tech. I love it. All right. That is the pick six for week number 3 here. Definitely appreciate everybody jumping on and joining us here on the chat here. And Chris, any final thoughts as we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, a lot of good games this week in Tampa Bay. With the Armwood and Tampa Bay Tech, I look forward to seeing how that game ends up.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be fun. And we'll have pick six recaps on FloorHSFootball.com next week for all the pick sixes in our region. We'll put up the pick six picks as well. But, boy, yeah, we got a lot of games. 4 more shows tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock with Central Florida. We'll have head coach Jeremy Bell from Mainland on. At 7:45, we'll have the Northeast Florida Blitz. We'll have Middleburg head football coach Ryan Wolf on. And then at 8:30, the North Central Florida Blitz, Mike Rideout will join us from Main Street Daily News in Gainesville. And then we'll have at 9:15, 8:15 Central, we'll have Irish Bill Hamill from Irish Bill Sports out in the Panhandle to talk about Panhandle football and some stuff with the Navarre Raiders. Chris, any final thoughts? As I see you have Christmas Elf. By the way, don't remind me Christmas is only a few months away.
Well, this is Alf, so. For people who don't know who Alf is, he was a legend.
Yes, he was. I do remember Elf very, very well. But Noli, appreciate you. Just keep up the great work. Good night, everybody. Great shows, fellas. From Mark Cannon and Emery Smith says, yes, enjoyed all the shows tonight. Appreciate y'all joining us here on the Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz. We'll see y'all tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock with the Central Florida Blitz. Good night, everybody.